Now, the Electoral Commission is set to announce a new date for the compilation of a new voters' register. This follows President Akufo-Addo's imposition of a ban on public gatherings and other activities to curb the spread of the coronavirus outbreak. Now, here's the statement that was issued by the Electoral Commission making this announcement. It says the Electoral Commission has noted with concern information in sections of the media to the effect that the compilation of the new voters register has been cancelled due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus in the country. The Commission wishes to state that the compilation of the new voters register has not been cancelled. Plans are far advanced for the successful takeoff of the registration process. In view of the ban imposed on public gatherings by His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, a new date for the registration will be announced in due course. The Commission wishes to assure the general public that it is taking the necessary steps to guarantee the safety of the citizenry and safeguard them from the virus. In this regard, the Electoral Commission will put in place concrete measures, including providing sanitizers at all polling stations and providing a conducive atmosphere at all registration centers so as to protect its stakeholders from the virus, among others. The public is entreated to prepare for the upcoming voters registration exercise. So election 2020, they say, towards free, fair, transparent, credible and peaceful elections in Ghana. So that's the statement that was issued by the Electoral Commission announcing the postponement of the exercise, but does not give any dates. Joining us on the phone on the back of this and more really is the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxing Dafiamakpo, who has issues with the Electoral Commission's push to make the Ghana card and passport the only acceptable identification for the new voters registration exercise. Mr. Dafiamakpo, good morning and thank you for your time. First, any observations on this statement issued by the Electoral Commission? No timelines given in this new release.
Yes, thank you very much and good morning to your viewers. Mamavi, it's worrying to read this sort of statement from the Electoral Commission. One, it's a matter of record that the Electoral Commission does not provide registration centers. It is the communities that provide registration centers for the Electoral Commission to register people. So the only thing they do is that when the centers are provided, and because the centers are supposed to be electronically sensitive, that is to have network, the community scout places where it's available. The commission comes to set up. Now, the they bring to set up are their machines. So if the Electoral Commission now says that they will provide conducive atmosphere, I am struggling to understand what they mean by that. Because from the practical experiences that we have had with the Electoral Commission as stakeholders, they do not provide the environment. They provide the spaces and the environment. That's number one. Number two, the Electoral Commission is failing to tell us when they will open the new date for the registration. And the directive by the executive directive in respect of avoiding small social gathering is in force for the next 4. And I know that there will be a review. And the review could be an extension of another 4 weeks or for 2 weeks. So as the statement of the Electoral Commission, things are in a limbo. But she refuses to accept that things are in a limbo.
Well, but that's something that has this pandemic. We all didn't see it coming. So isn't it impossible for them to put a date to this exercise now, considering what's happening?
It is the more reason why they should call it off.
Are you suggesting then that, the 2020 elections does not come off?
Why wouldn't the election come off? Isn't the Electoral Commission capable of conducting a limited registration exercise at a later date, say in August or in September, like they did last year towards the election of the district assembly elections in December 17th last year? because they conducted a limited registration in September of last year and registered 1.2 million and issued them with EC voter ID cards.
Well, this is different from the direction that the Electoral Commission itself has set for itself. I mean, it's compiling a new register. That's not a subject for debates any longer.
You know that we have said the compilation of the register from the work group. And the arrangement appears to be running into natural circumstances. So is it not an opportune time for the Electoral Commission to call it off? In any case, when they indicated clearly that they will be having recourse to the minister. Anyway,
isn't that call, just before we move on to the issue of the registration itself, isn't that call a bit too early? Because I mean, this virus could go even before the next month.
Mama, why is it an early call? When indeed the virus, the level of infection is rather going up and not going down. And the more it goes up in the countries that we have studied, the more the rate of infection increases, the more drastic the measures are. So is it not natural to conclude that they better call it off and fall in line with the national arrangement?
Is this something that legally, as a member of the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee of Parliament, you're going to push? And let's box that with your disagreement with the mode of registration in terms of using the national identification to register when this is finally happens.
We legally we cannot determine how the Electoral Commission performs the functions of its office. The Supreme Court has made that very clear. But given circumstances, they can be directed out to how to conduct its affairs so that the public health is not poisoned by the activity. And what we are saying is that given the circumstances, the insistence, the intransigent position to continue with the process has the danger of further poisoning the public health of the Commonwealth of the people. So it's a matter that we'll consider in due course.
So let's quickly touch on the ongoing registration. Hello, Mr. Dafamapo, if you can hear me.
Yes, you said something about ongoing registration.
No. So you disagree with the cards that you are required to use in the registration exercise, correct? With a form of identification.
Yes. Now let's deal with the matter of the proposed CI. Now, on Monday, they came to lay the CI in Parliament, and it's been referred to the appropriate committee, which is the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation. Now, it is a one-line amendment that is proposing in the new CI, and that is the regulation 1 of 1091 is requesting that be amended to read that the primary source of documents for identification for purposes of registration in the new window that's going to open will be the passport and the national ID card. And if you do not have any of these, then a registered voter would have been issued with a new voter's ID card who guarantees for a maximum of 10%. These are the amendments questions for. And we find it appalling and unacceptable.
What's your difficulty with that? You also say it infringes Article 42.
Exactly. Article 42 of the Constitution is the right to vote. Now, where one has the right to vote, it means you have the right to register if you turn 18 as a Ghanaian and you have sound mind. And implied is the right to vote that you have to be on the voters register and be issued with a certain form of identification, which is the voter's ID card. Now, the Electoral Commission, as recently as September last year, registered 1.2 million Ghanaians who turned 18 or who had not registered before in any general election, and issued them with 1.2 million voters' ID cards, which most of them used to cast their votes in the December 17th district level election. So how can you be saying that just 3 months down the line, you are rendering those cards ineligible in a national exercise of this nature? It is an unconscionable decision to make, and it has no basis in law that a card that was valid last year will suddenly not be valid in the new year. So he has not provided any legal basis.
So what's your proposal? They include the fact that if you have an...
Our proposal is that you must take it back to include a birth certificate, because a birth certificate is the primary identification document to procuring the passport. And Mama V, I can assure you that there are more foreigners who are capable of procuring our Ghanaian passports than it is possible for them to get registered as a voter in Ghana. So she must include birth certificate as well as the existing voters' ID card before we can have any discussion at all on this matter.
Okay, how far do you intend taking this?
Otherwise, the committee is yet to meet, and we shall reject the new proposal in total.
Reject in what ways? You can disagree.
That no, we cannot. We have the right. The procedure is that when she lays the instrument before Parliament, if as a committee we do not have any consent, then we recommend to plenary for it to pass. And so when the 21 days is up, it is gazetted and it becomes a constitutional instrument of effect. But where the committee has consent and the commission refuses to listen to the consent of the committee has the power to reject the instrument as brought.
So is this a concern that the rest of the committee members share? Because we know there's majority and minority on that committee.
It is a concern that the majority of the members of the committee share.
Okay.
And let me add that this is the committee that is chaired by the minority.
Great. All right. So we should see the committee reject this as a whole.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. All right. We thank you for your time this morning. That's a member of the Legal Constitutional Affairs Committee of Parliament, also member of Parliament for South Dai, joining us with his concerns. First, with the release from the Electoral Commission yesterday that says the compilation exercise will go ahead, and then also with the amendments that's before Parliament now in terms of the cards, the identification cards that you would need finally when we have to go and register for the election.